what kind of future where I'm a hero?
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name's Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week's podcast has tons of guests.
Whoa, guests!
Oh, man. As Suicide Squad proves the Joker has those tats.
Uh-huh.
Civil War has a ton of characters. Mm-hmm. Supergirl's pilot leaked.
It did.
And more.
Ooh, say hi, guests.
Hello.
He said say hi, guests.
What?
He's supposed to say hi, guests. No, never mind.
No.
Whatever.
Boo.
Boo. Hiss. All right. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. We're recording this on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a couple guests today to celebrate our 20th episode.
Yeah, we do. How about you go ahead and introduce Alan for us?
Yes, Alan, please tell us about yourself.
All right, well, I am a self-described comic book nerd, TV aficionado, hopeful comic book inker, and I am a UI UX designer in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, I saw your inking work for the first time on Instagram just the other day. I had no idea that you were inking.
Yeah, it's basically I'm trying to build a portfolio.
Uh-huh.
I have about 10 or 12 pieces up on DeviantArt.
Mm-hmm.
And took them to C2E2 last year.
Uh-huh.
With the hopes of, like, Marvel had a booth set up where they were accepting portfolios. And, of course, stupid me thinking, oh, they've got a booth. They've got 3 or 4 people that are just going to look at portfolios all day. And they're like, yeah, no, you've got to, like, leave it behind and come back and get it later. And I'm like, I live 4 hours away. That's not going to happen. So I didn't get to show anybody my portfolio, but because I'm so close to the Baltimore area, and what I've been told from local comic book shops here is that Baltimore is the con to go to if you want to meet comic book people.
Well,
Awesome.
I think more importantly is now you're on the star-studded Superhero Slate podcast.
I know.
And we can share all of your work at the end of the show.
That's right.
Yes.
We'll let you plug everything under the sun.
Excellent.
Sweet. So how about you tell us about Andy, Mike?
Well, Andy Royer here is my beautiful and lovely wife, who's standing right next to me.
Kiss ass.
I gotta bring it in here, but she's my partner in crime, and we pretty much
Leader in crime.
we pretty much watch everything under the sun together. So
You don't watch everything. You don't watch
I
Grey's
said
Anatomy
we
with
watch
me.
everything under the sun together. You see how this show's gonna go? This is what happens when you bring your wife into your world.
You're killing independent Mike.
She's pointing at me.
Awesome. So, needless to say, our
So
two guests
Do I not
today.
get an introduction of my own?
Oh,
as a
you
woman,
will.
or-
But I'm just saying, everyone here has some knowledge. Andy, what are you going to bring to the table?
Well, let's see here. Considering I didn't know this was going to be a test, let's see how I do. I want to write for TV. I am quite the TV connoisseur.
A plus.
And let's go with my little Twitter info thing with an aspiring television writer with a serious addiction to chocolate and type 1 diabetes.
You have an
there you
addiction to
go.
diabetes?
That's not healthy.
Just type 1. I'm not
Oh,
a type 2, so let's get that across right now.
Okay. Whoa. All right. Everyone, we're catering to all the audiences today.
I'm just saying.
So awesome. So you guys, you've listened to the show before, I presume?
Never. Just kidding.
Every episode.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alan's written in before. We
Yeah.
quoted him before.
Alan's the super fan.
I am a super fan.
Yeah, and Andy's just kind of guilty by
Married,
association.
Yeah,
married to one of you people.
She was roped into this because, for episode 10 we had one guest. So by episode 20, I figured we should have 2 guests.
Hey, I
And
know
then-
some things too.
Well, I'm just saying, if math allows, once we get to episode 100, we're going to need a lot more microphones if we're going to catch up with all these additions.
Yeah, maybe we'll be famous by then.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just that I will know the right people.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Bunnies-
Andy, we're-
Go ahead. No, you
I-
first.
I was gonna say, my wife is trying to navigate the treacherous world of Hollywood. So so who knows? Maybe one day she'll
Hey,
get to
I
know.
can name drop. I've met quite a few.
Yeah, you've met
David Hasselhoff.
the Hoff. You hassled the Hoff.
Yeah, he was really nice. Met Donald Faison. He was nice but busy, so I didn't get a chat with him.
Okay.
I met, oh my gosh, what's his name? Dean Cain. He's my favorite guy. I've
Yeah,
ever
there you
met.
go. That's how you tie. That's how you tie it in.
Superman.
Rutger Hauer. You met
Yes,
Rutger
I
Hauer?
did. I did. Yes, I did.
Just awesome.
I met
Well,
him a while ago.
it-
Old job though.
The person you know the longest is actually me. So don't
Yes.
forget that. You've known
Yes,
me longer.
I've met Oatmeal. You know.
Oh, I don't know. Have we ever dropped your nickname on the show?
I don't know if we've ever dropped
Yes.
my nickname. Have we?
You guys did in the first episode.
Well, 20 episodes later, finally, we got
This is why, especially why we have Alan on the show, because he knows the show better than we do, and we make it.
It's true. Well, all right. Without if anyone else doesn't have anything else to add, we'll jump into news real quick.
Go ahead.
Is that an we have stuff to add, or we don't have anything else to add?
This is a there's way too many people on this podcast. I have no idea what's going on.
Let's move into news. Yeah.
There we
Beautiful,
go.
There.
beautiful. All right, so Suicide Squad. We talked about this, right? We've been mentioning this. Mm-hmm. Okay, Joker images have appeared of him on set filming with Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. He drives a pink Ferrari.
I'd like to point out that this picture is red and not pink.
Is it?
I don't.
Yes.
It might just depend on the lighting. Maybe it could go both.
I've
ways.
seen other angles that show pink Ferrari. So we're gonna go with pink Ferrari. And his tattoos are actually on his face and body.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest news because, as I think we reported either last week or the week before, is we had some somewhat official confirmation that there weren't going to be tattoos, but I guess now there are.
Who knows at this point, honestly. Everyone I've talked to says the Suicide Squad is the biggest movie they're worried about next year.
Oh, really?
But I think you guys should take a look at the tattoos, though, real quick. The one on his forehead, I think they changed that one. It looks different than it did before.
Regardless, he looks like an ICP reject. I mean, come on.
So needless to say, do you guys like or dislike or cautiously optimistic about this look?
Well,
I dislike.
like when I saw the original one with all of the tattoos, covering his chest and everything, the only one I really disliked was the one across his forehead that's damaged.
Yeah, and it looks like
Too
it
on the nose. It's too.
It looks like it is still there for sure.
Yeah, but it could be something else.
Either way, it doesn't.
You can't read what it says in the picture, so you're just making an assumption.
Well, no matter
It's not good.
no matter what it says, it's still stupid. It's right on his forehead. I don't like it.
I think it does still say damaged. I've zoomed in a little bit, and it's got the little descender and the G towards the end. So I think it's still there.
Regardless of what it says, I mean, you guys feel the tattoos are a little much or a little not within the vein of the Joker?
I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting area to go into. So I think it just really depends. People are they're jumping on it too much right now. That's what I think. I think you need to just wait it out a little bit longer before you start jumping all over it and crapping all over the fact they put a buttload of tattoos on him. That's just me, though.
What about you, Alan?
I think the tattoos and the look of this Joker is going to overshadow Jared Leto's acting ability.
Yeah.
I really do.
I've heard some people say he looks very effeminate in these photos. Kind of, I mean, and that's how I imagine Jared Leto in my head. But I mean, that's just me. But I mean, I don't know. It goes to say, Suicide Squad, the Joker has the tattoos, and he's gonna have that look we saw a month ago or so ago. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I think the biggest point that Alan brought up is, will the look overshadow his acting ability? Because Jared Leto is an amazing actor.
Phenomenal
Well,
actor.
I mean, if you think about his character, though, in like Dallas Buyers Club, he was a transgender individual, and that did not overshadow the incredible job that he did in that movie.
I guess that's
So
true.
you got to kind of look at it that way too.
But we're talking about an iconic figure that has a certain look. And I think what they're doing with this production is they are trying to deviate as far from that as they possibly can to differentiate this Joker from Heath Ledger's Joker.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you think maybe that people are paying, they're thinking too much about Heath Ledger's Joker, and then when they look at him is why they're so upset about it?
I think so. And personally, like, my Joker is always the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
That is my Joker. That is Mark Hamill's portrayal, and the voicing of that character is just, that's how I picture the Joker. Picture him in a suave suit, nice, put together tie, but underneath he's absolute batshit crazy.
I like the irony in that statement.
And that's the Joker. That's the joke.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be curious as soon as we finally get to see him in a trailer. I think it's obvious that we're all going to be kind of really skeptical or just have lots of opinions on the way he looks, just because, as we've all been saying back and forth when it comes to this DC cinematic universe, is they got a lot to prove. So
yeah, they do.
Until we see something really solid, we're going to be skeptical, and I think they're probably aware of that. They know that they're going to take some heat no matter what they put out.
It's true. Speaking of heat, that brings me well into my next topic here. I've heard some news of Static Shock, a DC character, is going to be brought to life on some sort of medium, not film, but like maybe a television show, portrayed by Jaden Smith.
Oh, gosh.
No!
This is something I heard. I mean, it's not a TV. It's kind of like one of those like Netflix kind of series things, a digital series. And this is per Tyler James Williams, an actor who I remember mostly from Everybody Loves Chris. He was the main kid in that, and he's read for, that guy is actually said he's read for Marvel parts. I don't know what parts, but rumors like to say, oh, he's black, so he must be Miles Morales. But I'm like, that's a little too much. What do you think about this? Static Shock's a pretty unknown character. Jaden Smith, After Earth kind of sucked. What do you guys think about this? Lay it on me.
Jaden Smith is Static Shock. Just an image. If you look at the two, they look identical.
Yeah, I have to say,
mainly it's in the hair.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too sure if you were going to be familiar with Static Shock, just because I vaguely remember the show growing up. I know I've seen a few episodes, but I don't think I've watched it in any sort of continuation. So I pulled up an image, and you definitely were just like, yeah, that looks like Jaden Smith. So I guess maybe looks wise it could work out. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't like Jaden Smith as an actor.
I don't either, but
I really don't.
Maybe he'll be surprising, though.
God, I hope so.
He did dress as Batman for his senior prom.
The white clad Batman.
So
oh my
douchey.
That
god,
was hilarious. That was
So
hilarious.
douchey.
Yeah, maybe he can bring some of that pretentiousness to the Static Shock character.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
What
Is he gonna be concerned the whole show too? I mean, every photo, he's so concerned.
does Static Shock? I don't know if you guys know. Does he have any connections? Like with any sort of groups, like was he ever in like some sort of Justice League or anything of that nature?
I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah, not that I remember. I know. He was just like a teen hero that like, kind of had his own thing going on. I mean, he said he had an animated TV show in the early 2000s, but that's all I remember.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's what most people probably know him from. So I don't know, Jaden Smith. I don't know. The kid's weird. He's pretty much like an internet joke, especially the tweets that he makes. So I don't know if he can come out from under that or not.
Yeah, it's gonna be something different. I mean, maybe they can use these smaller digital mediums to do more, I guess, not popular characters. But I guess the guy's name is actually Static, not Static Shock. Static Shock was the show. It's just funny because when I was in Indianapolis, the Indiana Film Makers Network, they actually wanted to make a show like locally on this, which was what brought my attention to Static to begin with.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I mean that's just something we come up. If that comes up, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse next on the agenda. The only thing this week on that was Psylocke has purple hair.
Yay!
Portrayed by Olivia Munn, right?
Yes.
I mean, I saw a picture earlier today of her side by side, and she looks the part.
Yeah, she looks at.
Definitely does. I could see it working out well for her.
It's another big name that could continue on beyond like who the current team is. for the next trilogy as well.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. I think a lot of people have strong opinions on Psylocke just because she hasn't been like insanely mainstream, but people really seem to taken a liking to her. So we've had some kind of rumors what costume Olivia Munn might be wearing, some artistic renderings, but the purple hair is definitely a start, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, definitely purple hair is what she needs, right? That's iconic. Other than that, not much else to report on Apocalypse, other than the fact I'm kind of getting psyched to see some of this footage. Hopefully San Diego Comic-Con. Fantastic Four probably come through a bunch of news/rumors at us this week, actually. That's where we're going to start next. You guys, there was a new commercial this week that kind of showed off their powers a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I think it was some sort of sponsored commercial. I don't remember who was sponsoring it.
It was, I think it was a
Movie Tix.
Yeah.
Movietickets.com.
Okay, well, there we go. Plug for movietickets.com. Send us your royalties. Yeah, they were showing off some of the abilities of the Fantastic Four, which is kind of cool. Like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic on this film. They gave us a new poster. Supposedly, the Thing is huge compared to like actual people size. But other than that, here's a rumor we heard that Matthew Vaughn, director of The Kingsman, one of our top movies this year, directed the reshoots of Fantastic Four that happened recently. And they scrapped the 3D release plans to put that money back in those reshoots to tell a better story.
So you're saying that we're not going to be seeing 3D Fantastic Four?
That was the rumor that came out on Friday. On Saturday, Josh Trank kind of spoke up and said, no, that's not true. Again, we've heard troubling stories of Josh Trank with the studios and back and forth. But, I mean, this is something that, like, he may say no, but, I mean, he's not the studio, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you guys ready for Fantastic Four? Do you think they need no 3D reshoots? What's going on?
Honestly, I've never really been a big fan of 3D movies. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have astigmatism, so it's hard for me to see anyway. But I just don't think it's that impressive. I'm just not impressed. There's only one movie I've ever seen in 3D that I've been like, wow, that was necessary. The rest I'm always just kind of like, I could have saved a few bucks there.
Was it Avatar?
No, it was Gravity.
Oh, yeah. That
would be good.
Gravity was incredible in 3D, but I've never found another movie that I legitimately was happy I saw in 3D.
Maybe this would be a good strategy in the future for studios. That's the first thing to get canned is the 3D conversion. Like, our movie kind of sucks. Ditch the 3D and make it a little bit better.
Well, and it's interesting how 3D actually came about because it was tested in New York and they charged more for the tickets just to see if people would pay extra to see 3D. And because people paid extra then, that's why it costs more now. If they wouldn't have paid extra, it wouldn't have been more expensive for a 3D ticket.
So we should blame our New York listeners. Stop going to the movie theater and paying for the extra stuff. Because we don't want to pay for it out here on the West Coast.
I don't want to pay for it in the Midwest.
Hey, I'm on the East Coast and I don't pay for it at all. So,
what did you think, Alan? What's your thoughts on Fantastic Four?
So judging from the trailer and looking at it, it looks like they're following the Ultimates storyline,
I would agree.
which I'm a big fan of. Like, I hated the normal Fantastic Four. I thought it was boring. I thought, when you add aliens into the mix, you just kind of gave up as a writer. But reading the Ultimate Fantastic Four series, it's one of the best out of the whole Ultimate series.
Yeah, it is good. I'm an Ultimate. I told Mike, I have all but like maybe a handful of Ultimate comics.
I have all of them digitally, and I will go back through and read them. And I will read like Ultimatum and Ultimate Doom and all of those, and all of it is tied together, which I absolutely love. And so when I see how they're doing it, like at first, I was a little miffed that Sue and Johnny Storm are related, but it's visible they're not blood relation.
Yeah.
So I was a little miffed at it, but looking at the trailer, seeing like the one where they talk to Sue and Johnny's dad, and they're like, "What's different now?" And he goes, "Reed Richards," and like that whole trailer sold it for me because you see more of the action, you see the guy playing Reed Richards. I know, Chris, you don't like him. You can't stand him. I actually like the guy. So you see a little bit more of the acting, the interaction between the characters. I don't know. I'm kind of excited for it.
Awesome.
Well, here's a question for you guys. I don't know if it's something you've talked about already, but do you guys have a problem with Michael B. Jordan being the Human Torch? Because I know that's come up a lot recently.
No.
People
No.
have been, well, not all people. Some people have been like getting their panties in a wad over it, and I honestly think he's a great choice for it.
Yeah, the things that I've seen Michael B. Jordan in, he's been good. He was in Chronicle, right?
Yes.
If I remember
Yeah.
right. So like he's familiar with the director. So as the rumors of the temper tantrums we have heard, whether they're true or not, I think the best thing I can take away from anticipation for this movie would be I liked Chronicle, so I'm hoping we can get some of that in this movie. But I'm doing the same thing I did with Days of Future Past. I'm going in with like super low expectations. I'm just gonna go to see out of pure curiosity. So as long as it doesn't suck, I'm gonna consider that a success. And I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Keep your expectations low, and I think that will be the best way to go.
I'm just worried about Sue Storm, because in that little commercial we saw, they did great things with the three dudes, but then they just kind of have her standing there. Like, I want to see them do something amazing with her.
She used her force bubble to push back like all of these metal containers.
Well, no
Did you
kidding.
miss that part?
No, I saw it, but I'm saying, like, they can, like, people don't pay enough attention to the women characters. They give them very flat storylines, flat characteristics, and then they make the dudes get all the attention. And it's like, we need strong women, like Agent Carter, for instance. We need more women, superheroes. We need these stronger women characters that have an interesting storyline. So I'm just curious if they're going to be able to do that with her, if they're going to make her flat and boring like last time.
Let's hope not.
Is that some sort of like Jess at her breast size?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, we'll save that thought for later. That your mentality on women superheroes, we're gonna save that for later in the show because we got something coming up with Supergirl.
Yeah, we definitely need to take
Yeah,
advantage
I
of
have
having.
issues with that.
We need to have advantage of having a woman on the podcast at least.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So that brings me, that's just some rumors for Fantastic Four. Great, if it's true. If not, big deal. Like we said, we're gonna keep our hopes low, but cautiously optimistic that it's not something that makes you throw up in your mouth while you're watching it. Marvel Civil War is coming along. It's filming, right? We've seen a lot. There's hundreds of leaked photos from the set going on. People are taking pictures. We're not gonna cover all those. Like, they're not important to us. What is important is Jeremy Renner posted a photo of the new Civil War logo on his chair for the set. Have you guys seen that yet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just I kind of like it because it looks like they're putting more importance on the Shield and Captain America, because we've been getting so much news that this is full of heroes, but it's almost overshadowing the fact that this is a Captain America movie. It's not an Avengers movie.
Right. I think to me this, compared to the first one where Captain America was in the middle, it was kind of distracting, kind of busy. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a cleaner solution for that. What do our guests think on the logo, real quick?
I like the logo.
I like it too.
Okay. That's great. I mean, that's really all we're looking for. Hate it or love it, kind of the thing. On these new photos, also, we've kind of got an image of everyone who's shown up for this film. So far, we have Captain America, Falcon, Crossbones, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, interesting enough, and Iron Man. And Crossbones is supposedly done filming already with his scenes.
Oh wow, that was pretty quick.
If that's true, and maybe they're doing. I mean, Andy, you work in the film industry. You know how scheduling
Yes.
kind of goes. Now, I mean, when he's done, like, could they use him in these outside scenes and then bring him back for some indoor, like, studio filming later?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that. I mean, it's not like they shoot a movie in order like they do from the script. They shoot what they can at that particular time. So they may have shot all of his scenes now, but that doesn't mean that he's completely done. They definitely could bring him back later on.
Right. I just hope they don't waste him away like they did, like Batroc the Leaper in Winter Soldier at the beginning there. Mm-hmm. And who was the guy in Age of Ultron who got killed really quick? Strucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That guy got wiped out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people showing up here. Who do you think we're missing, or who do you think we don't need for this movie? I just want one person from each of you, just real quick.
I don't think we need Ant-Man.
Okay.
I'd like to see Daredevil.
Ooh.
That's good.
All right, what about you over here?
I'm thinking.
And I've got a reason for my choices.
We'll lay it on us. Go ahead.
Okay, so Ant-Man, we don't know that much about him yet, or the movie and how it ties in cinematically. Daredevil, the reason that I wish Daredevil would have been, for Netflix, would have been developed sooner, is so that we can get invested in the character and know where he stands in all of this. Because he has one of the best lines in Civil War. He actually comes in and turns himself in, doesn't reveal his identity, but turns himself in as a criminal because he didn't register. And the guys that brought him in, he didn't put up a fight, he hasn't said anything either. And they go, but we found this in his mouth, and it was a piece of silver. And so he looks at Tony as he's walking to the negative zone, which is the prison, and says, I guess you only need 29 more pieces, don't you?
Oh yeah, that was.
Civil War has some of the best lines. There's so much good stuff in that Civil War story arc that I want to see in a movie, that it's going to be like Braveheart times 5. I mean, it's going to be that long in order to make this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys picked yours yet?
No, I don't know. That's the thing. I'm still waiting to find out more, with Ant-Man and everything. 'Cause we've seen bits and pieces, but I don't know. I try not to watch too many trailers and little bits here and there, so I can kind of go in fresh for the movies.
I think I've got one that Andy might want that she doesn't know about, and that's She-Hulk.
She-Hulk?
Yes.
Are we ever going to get a She-Hulk? I don't know about that.
Probably not. But it would be nice to get at least the character, because she plays an integral part of Civil War. I mean, she's fighting it on the legal part.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe she popped up in Daredevil season 2, maybe. Stitched together the lawyer perspective. But I from my point of view, I'm a big fan of just cameos. I have no problem with 24 heroes being in this movie. Cram them in wherever you can. They can just be popping up and say hi. Kind of like Falcon did in Ultron. He didn't have too much to do, but he's just there to have a good time. I think obvious what we haven't seen on the list yet is we want to see Black Panther and we want to see Spider-Man. As long as they do those guys justice, these brand new guys, that's all I care about. So that's what I want to see.
Okay, yeah, I feel that. I mean, honestly, looking at this list, off the top of my head, again, we haven't seen Ant-Man, so we don't know if Giant Man is in the mix or not. Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting. And we all know from Civil War, the series, that there's a Thor clone involved.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. I forgot about that.
So I don't think he'll make this transition. I think Civil War is just the title they're going with, not the storyline per se.
Right.
Exactly. But honestly, I think a Thor clone would be an interesting kind of thing for Tony to dream up.
Well, they have that cell replicator from Ultron.
Right. Yeah, and everything's set up for it. I just don't like Mike said, it's a Captain America movie. It'd be interesting to see how they can pull that out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Civil War's coming, new logo, a lot of people showing up. We're excited for it.
Yeah, but I mean, speaking of Ant-Man, it looks like we have a little bit of Ant-Man news.
Yes, Ant-Man. There's he's covering the image of a magazine. I think that magazine's Empire. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's on Empire this month, and one of the newest images kind of shows off the outfit, kind of in fuller detail that we've seen. And just taking a look at this image here. It looks it looks plasticky and PVC and like it's pulled right out of the 70s.
Yeah, I'm almost kind of curious if this costume is going to have a refresh maybe, because as we can kind of get from the trailers, Michael Douglas, a.k.a. Hank Pym, he has been maybe a hero before. He's probably put on this suit once or twice before he gives it to Paul Rudd. So maybe, like you said, yeah, that makes sense. It could be an older suit. Maybe it breaks down, and then for the final battle, he gets a brand new Ant-Man suit. That would be kind of cool, because I've said that on the show all the time. I love it when they hide stuff. I love it when we get reveals. So, man, that would be super cool if we got a new Ant-Man costume in the third act, or maybe even if he pops up in Civil War, Ant-Man could have another costume. I think that could be cool.
It would be even cooler.
What?
They bring the Wasp into it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yes.
Saying, the Wasp, it would be amazing. They could do so much with that.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have high faith that Janet Van Dyne, right? That's her name.
Yes.
Will be the Wasp in this, or whatever her name is. Evangeline Lilly will eventually be the Wasp.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I have high faith. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Andy, but I think she's a strong female actress.
Yeah.
I mean, she carried like Lost and the Hobbit movies. For the female.
I think she could be a very interesting choice. Put it that way.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be the Wasp, our new Marvel Cinematic Universe of the Wasp. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I think the suit looks fun. It looks interesting. I want to see how they explain how it works. I think there's a lot of utilitarian look to it, and can't wait. July, right? July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So something else we can't wait for: Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah. What news? What news do we have here?
James Gunn was on Facebook. He puts a lot of stuff on Facebook. I don't know if you follow him or not.
Yeah, I'm following him on Instagram. He put up a picture recently. He has a shelf of all of the pop vinyls from Guardians. That made me think of you, because I'm sure you had them before he did.
I just have Thanos. Believe it or not, I don't have the other one.
Wow.
I have a Star Lord, and my girlfriend has Gamora. I guess I have more than I thought I did. But he said that casting has begun for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Ooh, that obviously means he's maybe looking for Star-Lord's father? I don't know.
That's the impression we got, that they're looking for his dad for the next upcoming movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's going to be a big movie. I mean, they moved it from a August release date to a May release date. Kick off the summer of 2017. I mean, you guys ready for more Guardians?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I loved the first one.
That's a unanimous hells yeah.
Yeah, that was a unanimous absolutely.
Yeah. Right after Guardians of the Galaxy 2 actually brings us to our next topic, Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man. I'm going to dub it Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Sony Spider-Man is technically no more.
Yes, so we got two rumors for it. We didn't talk about this last week. We should have.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Asa?
Yeah, it's either Asa or Asa.
I think it's Asa.
Okay.
Asa Butterfield is our Spider-Man that they will announce very soon.
Yeah, and I've heard, I mean, it seems to be a really strong rumor. Almost to the point, what was it, the Latino Review, I think, was the first to report on it, possibly. And they were 100% confident. I mean, it sounds like they definitely know someone that knows what they're talking about. I'm not too sure how accurate their track record is, but I mean, Butterfield was in the speculative ranking a couple weeks ago. I've seen some reports that he actually is pretty tall. People were worried he was going to be the short little guy, but apparently he's like 6'1".
Well, he's pretty short in past movies.
Yeah, well, I think he's grown up. He's hit puberty since we've seen him.
I know. He's hit puberty.
On Reddit, he said he was 6 foot even. So yeah. Definitely. I mean, that's not even the biggest rumor. That's we were talking about it a few weeks ago. Biggest rumor is Matthew McConaughey is going to play the villain.
All right.
I don't know about this. I really don't. I love Matthew McConaughey, but he does not strike me as Norman Osborn.
That's funny. Like, they didn't say the villain. The assumption is Norman Osborn. But if you can't see him as Osborn, who do you see him as?
I'd like to see the Shocker.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Mysterio.
Oh, Mysterio. I didn't think about
Go
that.
some classic villains. Or maybe even the Vulture. I mean, he's lost a ton of weight. So he could get, like, real, like, gaunt. And when he does, like, that nose protrudes a little bit. I wouldn't mind seeing him as the Vulture.
I have to say, he kind of looks like a bird. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He looks like, doesn't he look like he could be a bird?
I just think he's a good-looking man. It's
Oh,
fine with
oh,
me.
no.
You just put up pictures of him. I'm
jeez.
enjoying
He
it.
is one sexy bird, is what she's saying.
I'm saying that is a bird that I would love to spend the day with.
Oh no, you're not going to be on next week's show, baby.
That's fine.
I mean, yeah, most people point out he does have the hair of Norman Osborn, and it kind of fits the Spider-Man 1, the Raimi version, kind of look. I don't know. Again, this is pure rumor. If he's going to be in it or not, maybe he could be somebody else completely.
It could, yeah, but it could still be pretty interesting if it is Norman Osborn. You know, it could. I don't know. I think it could be a new side of Matthew McConaughey we haven't seen before. Of course, mixed with his gravelly sounded voice.
I mean, I think that's a good point. I think if he was to play Norman Osborn, that would be a side we haven't seen before.
Well, it's like the same thing like with Heath Ledger. Whenever he found out he was going to be, the Joker, they were like, "What?"
Not this guy. Not this guy. I was like, that's going to be awesome.
Yes, but you were probably one of the few.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had a problem with it, and then they saw him, and they were like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!" So maybe it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, but
Maybe I just have high hopes for too many people.
Yeah, you just have a bright perspective on the future that we've seen to have drowned out inside of ourselves. So
Because you're dark and gray inside.
yeah, you are bright and sunny, and we are not.
Yeah, we're more like Matthew McConaughey in True Detective, where time is a flat circle.
Possibly.
So just remember that.
And I keep going back to Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. That's what it was.
Oh,
What you
God.
guys should be going back to is How to Lose a Guy in 10
How to
Days.
lose a guy in 10 days? You
Jeez.
speak to me. You speak to me. Oh, man.
And he calls his downstairs Kroll the Warrior King. Come on.
Oh, dear.
Or, hey, I'll even throw it back to Dazed and Confused.
There you go. Even
That is the
better.
thing I love about these high school girls. I get older,
What
they
about-
say the same age.
How about We Are Marshall? He was, the coach.
Should I just pull up his IMDb record and we'll just
think we-
No, I think
we'll
we're
just
done.
we'll just drop all of his movies?
But regardless, he's been good looking.
Has he been a
and
s-
that's what's really important, isn't it?
Has he been a supervillain in any of them though?
No.
He looks super creepy.
I think
in,
that's what we
Dallas Buyers
that's what
Club.
we need
So
to
you
figure
got
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, regardless, Matthew McConaughey is rumored to play the villain of Spider-Man. And
that went off track real quick.
I don't
did.
know. I thought it was a nice track.
the only meme I saw connects with Alan's thing here, and so they said, you know what I like about Spider-Mans? I keep getting older, and they say the same age.
Exactly.
So we're gonna come up to Mike's favorite section of the week now. TMNT2.
My TMNT2 to me is like the Muppets to you, I think. The way we keep trying to cram them into the show.
Yeah, I always find I seek out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 news just for Mike on the show.
Which is funny because it's a very recent fandom. I watched the movie just a couple weeks ago and I had a good
Did you
time.
not watch the show as a kid?
No, I watched the show as a kid like no other. I had tubs full of TMNT action figures, which is really the only reason why they made the cartoon show or the movies, just so I would tell my mom to go buy me more action figures. But either way,
I was 10 when those came out, dude. I know all about that.
yeah, Alan knows.
Sounds like this my jam.
Oh, I got when the original came out, my parents bought me the VHS, and I'm throwing it back that far
Oh man,
to the VHS. I wore out that tape, and I got another one.
Wow.
And I still think to this day, if you started the movie, I can quote it word for word.
oh man.
I'm dead serious.
Well, the one thing the older movies didn't get us that this new one might is Krang may appear. It's a rumor.
God, Krang is gonna be one of the weirdest screen adaptations, I think.
It's what happens when you eat too much bubble gum as a child.
Oh God, yeah, you get
Develop a crane in your stomach.
Wow. That just put it on a whole new level.
Yeah.
If Krang does appear in this, Mike, do you think he'll fit in or not? I mean, he's an alien type creature.
I mean, I have a feeling that more than likely, because I think most of us are familiar with Krang from the animated show, and he just has that weird, muscly bound doofus that's kind of his body.
The Hodor.
Yeah, I think more than likely it's just going to be a CGI brain, and then when he needs to fight, he'll probably get into like a badass mechanical suit, and I think I'm okay with that. No one's looking for Oscar bait here when it comes to a Ninja Turtle movie. We just want to see some crazy weird stuff on the screen. I think Krang is the best way to give that to us.
Yeah, it's gonna be different. But that's really just a rumor. We don't know if that solidifies. That's a throwback to the gum joke. We will let you know. What we don't want to come true is this next bit of news.
Oh, well, that might be subjective. We'll have to see. We have guests today.
We do. Transformers is getting some spin-off movies.
Oh, okay.
And they've hired a writing room consisting of the following 4 people. Or I guess 5 people. Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Art Markham and Matt Holloway of Iron Man 1.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Penn of The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
And Jeff Pinkner of The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I was like, yeah. Oh.
That's pretty much everyone's reaction. Like, it just kind of let everything down there at the end.
This is just a bizarre mix. I mean,
it really is.
Wow.
So, I mean, what do you guys think? Like, I mean, I'm tired of Transformers movies. The last one was terrible, awful.
I didn't even see the last one.
I kicked myself in the ass for watching it in the theater. At least
the
every
last
day.
one was so long. I don't know how anyone could sit through a whole showing of it without having to go up and pee and then maybe considering going back in or not.
Yeah, so, and they want to do spin-offs, not just regular movies. So what do you think? Do they need spin-offs for the Transformers?
Let's see what everyone else has to say.
Well, it depends. I think it depends on what type of spin-off you're talking about here, though. That's the big thing. Like, are you talking about like just something with like, oh, let's just have Bumblebee and see what happens? Because that I don't think you need. I don't think you need to go there and do that. You know. But who knows? Maybe instead you'll see something else completely different. I don't know. So I think once we find out more about what specifically they mean by spin-off.
Yeah.
Then I think that'll be easier to make an informed decision.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. What do you think, Alan?
Well, see, when I go and I watch the Transformers movies, I literally want to go to see shit blow up. So it gives me everything I want. You know, I really wasn't a big Transformers fan as a kid, so I'm not as attached to the Transformers like a lot of people are. Now, if we were talking G.I. Joe, I will talk your ear off on G.I. Joe.
Jeez.
How I hated the first one, loved the second one. But I digress. As long as it has John Turturro in it, I'm going to be fine.
Okay.
John?
He wasn't in the last one, I don't believe.
Oh, see, that's why the last one sucked.
Damn, you got me.
Yep.
I mean, it's just an interesting group of people who would. I mean, there must be money involved to get these people involved in Transformers.
I mean, I'm just really curious. What exactly do you spin off? I mean, I would say
that's what I'm saying.
GoBots. GoBots.
Yeah, I mean...
Whoa, easy on the GoBots. All right, I had GoBots. GoBots were the cheap Kmart knockoff Transformers.
They are the Mega
Well,
Blocks.
you guys could go even cheaper and go Transmorphers, which is the Asylum's version.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we ended up saying that. You work for the illustrious movie studio known as the Asylum, which has brought us wonderful things like the Sharknado movies.
Sharknado 3, July 22nd.
We made it 40 minutes without any Asylum reference.
Oh, man. Well, I think she's biting her tongue over here trying not to say anything.
Hey, there's still time.
Oh, but it's a fun trip walking through her office because they've made their own version of Thor because he's like an
Almighty Thor.
Yeah, because he's like an open license character, so they can just make all the Thor movies they want.
Yes, we have Almighty Thor.
But anyway, back to Transformers. I mean, yeah, I don't even know what you spin off. I mean,
what you do is you spin off the Asylum's version and call it Transmorphers.
Oh no, I don't think so.
And there's Transmorphers 1 and 2.
I think that's enough with the.
I'm just saying, you were asking about spin-offs. We did it already.
How many strong female characters are in Transmorphers?
Well, considering I've never punished myself enough to watch it,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, Transformers spin-offs, we're just gonna get this in the past because there's really nothing else to say. Like, there's no news from that other than those people are there working on
Maybe
Transformers
they'll make
movies.
a spin-off just about Megan Fox's weird, freaky thumbs.
I think they killed her off in one of the movies, didn't they?
I don't know. I knew she
not
wasn't
not
in the
yet.
last one.
No, they touched down on that on number 3, and they said that like her and Sam broke up.
Oh, well, there
Yeah,
you go.
apparently there was conflicts with her on set or something that led to
Yeah.
And his new girlfriend was in Mad Max, and she got ran over.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so either way, that Transformers more are coming. Get ready for them. Last bit of news for movies. I saw Tomorrowland. Did anyone else see Tomorrowland?
Not yet.
That's a negative. No.
I'm not gonna recommend it. It's gonna be a red box for you guys.
Man, that I am honestly surprised, especially with Brad Bird at the helm of this movie.
And Clooney?
Half of this movie is what they could do in the half of this movie. Like I would get say an hour of the movie, they could do in 10 minutes. Like the setup is so huge and the payoff is so little.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
that sucks.
And I feel like it's great building this world and this character, and this is an example of a strong female character, like 2 strong, great female character leads in this movie. Mm-hmm. But it's just bogged down with a lot of spinning wheels.
Oh, man.
And that really, I was bored. I was honestly bored this movie, and I kept thinking that like I'm bored, I'm bored. I'm bored, and then that was it, and then it was over. So Tomorrowland, I'm gonna have to give it 2 out of 5 stars according to my Flickster. So
Now, I haven't seen the reviews, so maybe don't tell me any specific reviews that you've seen out there, but is your opinion dissenting? Is it aligning with what's out there, or?
most are going 50%. I'm a little lower.
Oh, okay, wow.
I'm a little harsher because I don't think the end justifies the means on this one.
Brad Bird, so sad. Maybe he'll just drown his sorrows in Incredibles 2, because that's what we want.
Knock on wood. So that's it for movies. Now we're gonna get to the meat of this podcast. This
Yeah,
is
the
what
meat.
everyone's here for.
Or, tofu if you're veggie.
Or the veggie. We're getting into the veggies of the podcast.
Yeah, the robust veggies.
That,
The
The
fibrous.
sweet potatoes of
man,
it all.
except this is not what steams our broccoli. So get those veggies out of here.
Yeah.
So
Broccoli's delicious.
Alan and Andy, you guys have seen a lot of the television shows going on this year, right?
Absolutely.
And we're gonna cover 4 quick bits of news first, and then we're gonna get into this whole special TV thing that we're going on today. Flash season 2, they said they're bringing more speedsters in.
Yeah, I think that is good news. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that at length here shortly.
Yes. Am I okay to mention your script, Andy?
Yeah, you should be okay. I wouldn't give away too many specific details about what happens, but if you want to talk about the characters in it, that's fine.
That's fine. I mean, you wrote a what we call a spec script for a internship or something.
It's for a writer's fellowship, or a television writing fellowship.
And you introduced speeders in your script.
Yes, I did. I introduced a few different speedsters in it. Yes.
Yes. So I mean,
You don't want to reveal your secrets over here.
No, I just.
No, it's good.
I'm really proud of my script. I worked hard on it.
It's
Alan,
really
It was
Alan
good.
is also very familiar with it. He also.
It was good.
yeah, it's really awesome. And I think everyone's minds are going to the same place. How can we get more people who run really fast into this show?
Well, I found a great way to bring in not only Lady Flash but also Savitar. So, and I think I almost thought of maybe putting in another one, but at the last minute I took them out just because it was just going to be too many. I think if you introduce 1 or 2 new ones at a time, I think it's the best way to continue to bring them in. Like, with the Flash, and I don't know if you guys noticed it, but in the season finale of this season.
Spoiler alert.
Are you talking about the helmet?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Spoiler alert.
We'll come
Spoiler
into that.
alert.
I want to cover that when we go into our special on that show.
Okay.
But that's awesome that you saw that too.
Oh, I freaked out over it.
Yeah.
I freaked.
As did I.
Awesome.
Yes. Awesome. Also, one of the producers said that season 1 is an alternate timeline of the Flash universe.
It's very interesting.
Because, Eobard Thawne came back and actually messed up the original timeline.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very true.
But I think maybe that could be a TV writer's dream MacGuffin. Just be like, is something weird going on here? Let's just make it another timeline. Okay, that works.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
that's pretty
I don't know,
interesting.
I kind of have issues with that kind of thing, though.
Yeah,
It seems
it's
like a cop out.
it's
Being like, well, we made this decision and now we kind of wish we didn't, so let's just have this easy out to say it just doesn't matter instead of working on it more and trying to find a better way.
yeah, it's definitely it's a sticky trap that they can get themselves
for
in.
For sure.
It could be where at the end he wakes up and it's all a dream or a book he was writing, a la Roseanne. But I mean, that's interesting. Like, do you think we'll ever see the original timeline at some point?
I think we might see bits of it.
What could have been?
Yeah, I think
The very last season.
that would be cool. I think it's just cool that they can have so much fun with this show, and actually, you know, I'll just save it when we go over these shows because I think we all really want to talk about the Flash.
We do. Agent Carter, want to talk about this? Season 2's coming up. 10 episodes instead of 8.
Yes.
Very,
good.
very excited about this.
We
I
are-
love Agent Carter.
We are 3 episodes away from a full half season.
Yes, it's going to still take the place in between the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. break, but they're adding 2 more episodes to it, so I'm really excited for that.
That's awesome. Let's hope March Madness doesn't mess up your viewing next year.
Oh my god, I'll be so mad. I'll stab somebody.
I think it's really interesting though how they're being very careful about Agent Carter to see. Okay, well, let's start with these 8 episodes and see how it goes. And okay, well now let's just add on 2 more. And I think it kind of it's a safe way to go about it. But the show is so good, so
Yeah.
I'm just excited that we're getting more.
I think it speaks a lot to ABC over there that even though these 8 episodes did not perform as well as they would have liked, you know, they probably thought in the back of their heads, you know, hey, maybe even reruns could get pretty close to this and wouldn't have cost us any money. I think it's great that they're like, no, let's go season 2. Everyone really liked it. You know, maybe it was just like weird, like just scheduling conflicts with the broadcast, but I think that's awesome. I think we need Agent Carter season 2, and I'm glad we're getting it.
Yeah, and I think honestly, the shows that don't make you wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks or an indefinite amount for an episode pay off the most.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that goes into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter just ran straight from start to finish this year, and that was awesome. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 is actually going to be on Netflix starting in June already.
Wow. That's the nice team up you get there when Disney is all buddy with Netflix.
Yeah, so you guys, everyone's caught up on S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, I mean, we don't need to watch it again, but for people out there who haven't had a chance to watch it on Hulu or ABC, check it out on Netflix. Come June.
We don't speak kindly to Hulu on this show, Chris.
We are not Hulu people on this end.
I know we're not. Hashtag fuck Hulu Plus. But I will not knock anyone's means to watch these shows if that's their choice.
That's true. Good point.
So yes.
Yes, but let's keep in mind June is right around the corner.
It is literally
Just
like
saying.
right there. It's peeking out. I see it.
We cannot use Hulu and wait a couple weeks and then
Yeah, there
use
you go.
Netflix.
There you go.
Hashtag fuck Hulu Plus.
Yeah.
Lastly, Supergirl, the pilot leaked this week.
Yeah, and so I'm sure we'll talk about Supergirl at length when we go into these shows, but I think the biggest news out of this is whether it was intentional or not. I mean, we were kind of sour on the trailer for sure, and I know a lot of other people were, and I've heard people on the inside say that this might have been intentional because, you know, that trailer maybe wasn't supposed to be what it was.
About the trailer, but I don't know if do we want to get into them now or later?
We'll save Supergirl for the second half of the TV special. But I mean, I didn't get to watch it yet. I'm actually disappointed in myself. I have it downloaded through means unmentionable, and I'm ready to go. Mike watched it. You watched it, right?
Yeah, I saw it. So when we get to that section, I'll let everyone know what I thought.
Okay.
I have not seen the show yet. My views are based solely on the 7-minute or so whatever trailer that I watched.
It's like a mini episode, basically.
Great, Alan. Have you watched it?
I have not.
Okay, great. So, Mike, don't try to spoil too much for us.
All right, I won't spoil anything.
But next week we may go into a little more detail. I'll have it watched by next Sunday.
Right. Cool.
All right, TV special time.
Yay!
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 So, We're just gonna kind of wing it on this. We got some shows. We're gonna talk about the shows that just went off the air, and we're gonna then go into shows that are coming up.
Yeah,
and some ideas here.
Yeah, I think we should do our best to avoid spoilers. I don't know. What do you think we should do here?
Spoilers. We're gonna go spoilers.
All right, we'll do it.
Yeah, because I want to talk about highlights and the lowlights if need be, and future potential. So here on out, spoilers for the TV shows. If you haven't watched them, catch up and then come back. But we're going full unadulterated on the show.
Oh, let's do it. Let's get dirty.
Oh, I didn't know how I was going to be able to keep all of these feelings inside of me without giving things away.
Yeah. So all right, we're gonna start. First show up, Arrow.
Ooh, I think Arrow is a good way to start because I feel like it kind of started it all, this new generation of TV shows, and I think Alan might agree with me.
I will agree with you on. I've been an Arrow fan since day one.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that I have with Arrow is I feel like they shot their wad with their villain.
Uh-huh.
Because, Ra's al Ghul is kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So to do what they did, and I'm not going to divulge what they did at the end of season 3, but I felt like they shot their wad.
Yeah, I think the ending of Arrow this season had a very odd feeling to it where it felt almost like a very light series finale. It felt like when the show comes back next season that things are going to be really, really different. A lot of season finales will give you a cliffhanger, like The Flash did.
Oh my God,
Yeah, this was very kind of like tied up with a bow. We got a little bit of a, what happened to the Atom a little bit there. But yeah, this kind of tied up kind of nicely. So I thought the season overall was stronger towards the tail end, like the second half of the season. But overall, I think the show is really great because Amell that plays Arrow, or Amell or whatever, he plays a really dark character, and I think that's good because he's very strong and he's uniting this CW universe that they're building.
Yep. Yeah, essentially he's the Batman. If you really want to look at it, he's the rich guy who's a vigilante at night, and he's now gathering all of these superheroes together. Put him in black, and he's Batman.
Yeah, he is the TV budget Batman that just likes bow and arrow.
So I've heard that the next season will be more lighter in tone compared to this one. But I've not watched Arrow. I've watched 0 episodes of Arrow. I've only seen him cross over with the Flash, and in that he's really like a buzzkill, so to speak. This Arrow's got 3 seasons now. It's the longest running of the shows we're going to talk about. Where would you rank this season? Where would you guys rank this season in terms of 1, 2, 3?
What about you, Alan? Go ahead.
I would probably put this season second. Season first is kind of a slow burn. It's a lot of build up. Season 2 is by far my favorite. So I would go 2, 3, 1.
Man, but I think almost if you break it up, I like the flashbacks in the first season the best. I thought the flashbacks in season 3 were a little weak. I wasn't really riveted by the China storyline that much that they had going on. But I think it's cool when they get to introduce some of these new characters. I think that's almost like this is basically like a launching pad for a lot of. As we'll talk about later, this is definitely a launching pad for a lot of other CW shows. So I guess as long as they keep it good enough, I think I'm happy with it.
Yeah. The thing I love about Arrow and these CW shows in general is they bring back a lot of actors that I enjoy. My wife and I would watch Spartacus, and almost all of the villains in the Arrow Flash universe are Spartacus alumni.
Yeah.
And so Weathermaster was the guy that took over the role of Spartacus when the original actor died. Manu Bennett, who played Slade Wilson, he was a main character. He was Crixus.
Yes.
Amanda Waller was Crixus's wife. Nissa Al Ghul was the chick who was in love with Spartacus. I mean, just they're bringing in all of these different characters, and I love seeing actors from other stuff come back in like little bit roles. So like in season 3, you had the army general. That was the guy who played Beastmaster in the old 80s show or movie where the guy could talk to animals and had 2 ferrets that would steal stuff for him.
Well, I think most importantly, I mean, it kind of shows some legitimacy when it comes to these CW shows. I mean, heck, we even got a previous Superman to come on an Arrow TV show, and now he's kind of getting his own little mini-series TV show.
Yep.
So I think that's crazy and speaks a lot to the show. And I can tell you what, and I think Andy might have had the same reaction. The first I saw about Arrow was the big billboard outside of the mall by our old place, which is just basically him without a shirt on. And I was just like, well, it doesn't look like that this show is being marketed towards me at all. It's being marketed towards whoever likes abs. So I was totally not going to watch this show at all until I happened to catch a little bit of it just on TV just one time. So
yeah, and it's kind of funny because I watched the first episode or 2 with him, and I did not like the show, so I have not continued to watch it. But he has, so it looks like that billboard worked in your favor.
Man,
anyway.
I mean, they're just like
Mike loves abs.
It's like a washboard. I mean, come on.
It is. That Stephen Amell is he's ridiculous physically. Like the stuff that he does on the show, the salmon ladder, where he does the pull up and then he hops it to the next rung and
That's
goes
showing
up.
off.
I mean, it is, but I would love to be able to do that. I cannot.
I think we all would love to.
And so, I will disagree with your advertising because my wife started watching it because he's a good-looking guy. And I think she dropped off about season 2.
Yeah.
About halfway through season 2.
I guess abs only get you so far.
They do, but they get you in the door.
Well,
They get boring to stare at after a while.
well, I think the most important character by far introduced in this show is Barry Allen, and I think that segues perfectly into the next show.
Oh, I love Barry Allen.
Yes, we're gonna get into The Flash, something we've all seen. Finally, since Arrow I've not watched and Andy's dropped off on. So The Flash finished off its first very strong season.
Love The Flash.
This past week, I can't even begin to describe how I feel this season since I kind of binge watched it all over 2 weeks. That was a pretty good way to watch it, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But let's go. Like, Andy, what did you think of The Flash? I know you're a big proponent. You wrote a script on it. What did you think of the season of The Flash?
You see, when I saw the first trailer for it, I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. I think I'll give it a shot. And then we watched the first episode, and I was like, oh my god, like this is gonna be amazing. So then we watched the whole season. We just got to the end of it, and it just got better and better and better, and I loved it. And it was a show that I loved enough to say, you know what, I know this is in its first season, and you're not really supposed to spec a first season script, but I did it anyway. And because that's how much I love the show, how intriguing I found it, how interesting I found the characters, except Iris. I hate Iris. She's
Why
so
do you hate-
dumb.
Oh,
Iris
she's
West.
not. She's not that
Are you
dumb.
kidding me? She
come
is
on.
so stupid.
Come on.
She is incredibly dumb. I mean, there's like everybody around her is like, oh yeah, we all know Barry's the Flash, and she's like, what? The Flash? Oh, I'm gonna go meet him on a rooftop.
You mean the
She's
Streak?
so stupid. The Flash, the Streak, whatever you want to call him.
The good thing his suit was red.
And her blog, like, really.
It's kind of unfortunate because I feel like in every either
so
superhero
bad.
TV show or movie, there's always one character who's the last character to figure it all out, and they always look so stupid.
She is the Joey Tribbiani of that group.
She's not that funny. She's not that funny.
Joey Tribbiani without the humor. Like, she's just stupid.
Man, I hope she doesn't listen to this show. She's gonna be mad.
Well, the thing is, like, Iris in the Flash Rebirth comics, she's an incredible woman. She's amazing. I really liked her in those comics, and so like when the show was coming out and everything, and like we're watching it, and I'm just like watching Iris continue to be dumb.
Yeah, I saw that they
being stupid.
They wrote some articles specifically on her character.
Oh, and she's just. She's so stupid.
I think that's
drives me
I think
crazy.
that's the product of bad writing.
Oh, I agree. I think so too. I think it's because they're trying too hard to. I mean, I understand they're trying to focus obviously on Barry's story and everything, but I think they kind of left her character in the dust a little bit. So they've, like I said earlier, they've made her character very flat. You know.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I tell you what, on The Flash, I saw the leaked pilot last summer after San Diego Comic-Con, and I liked it. It felt very, to me, it felt like the original Spider-Man trilogy from Raimi. It's got the voiceover, and he's running through the town, saving people, kind of like Spider-Man swinging through the town. And I was like, okay, this is going to be, very Spider-Man-esque, very light, very fun. And it continued that, and it kept us guessing, like, this is nothing like we've seen in the books. Especially, like the fact that Eobard Thawne stole the identity of Harrison Wells through like some sort of plug into your body and steal that person's body cord. I enjoy the show. I'm going to come back for season 2 day 1.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I have to complain about is the same thing I told you. I don't like the cliffhanger at the end as much as other people did.
Yeah, it's an interesting cliffhanger because it doesn't leave you with many questions. I think we all are assuming that he's going to save the day, but I almost think that maybe they might twist it and maybe he could be jumping into another timeline. I mean, this is like a freaking black hole that he's going into.
See, I have a good theory for the way that they ended it. The whole black hole concept. I think it's going to be their interesting way of really introducing the Speed Force and all that entails. Because that's just I don't know. I just have a feeling about it. Because they've hinted at bits and pieces of the Speed Force, but they've never gone into great detail about it.
I think they said the Speed Force only for the first time in the last episode.
No, they mentioned it once before. They dropped it mid to
it was
not quite halfway through, but maybe about 2/3 of the way through the season. They dropped a line about the Speed Force, but they never said anything about what it was. They just dropped the line, "Oh, the Speed Force."
Yeah, Eobard was talking to his computer about his connection to it diminishing, and that was it.
Yeah. And so, like, that's the thing. That's why I think the Speed Force is going to be kind of the saving grace, because I think they're going to bring back, then you have the helmet. You have that too. So if you think about the Speed Force and then, Jay and his helmet coming back, and then that's going to lead to, Wally West and all the other characters too. Like, I really think it has to do with the Speed Force.
You're onto something here. Let's talk about that helmet coming through. Okay, that's Jay Garrick, the original, Silver Age Flash, right?
Yes. Jay's
now,
a badass.
When that helmet came through and Thawne was like, "That's my signal to leave," do you think he's encountered these other speedsters before?
Oh, I know he has. He for sure has.
And a lot went on in the scene. Like, Barry was looking through the Speed Force. He saw Killer Frost, right? Mm-hmm. What is that ring around Eddie's neck? Have you guys seen that / heard that?
Yeah, I thought I thought there was some rumor, because I don't know if I saw a very clear screenshot, but someone said that it could have been a ring.
It's definitely a ring. It looked larger than a engagement ring. Mm-hmm. But not as large as the Reverse Flash ring.
Yeah, I think when you see a character die on screen, and he had a pretty emotional death, and I thought it was executed really well. But when you see him sucked up into like the Speed Force, black hole, whatever it was, I think you can only assume that he might be popping up again later. If you're just going to be sucked into another dimension, they might be bringing him back.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can use the Speed Force to go other places. Mm-hmm. So it definitely, then they were hinting at, this could be an alternate timeline. The Speed Force is the perfect explanation for all of it. Mm-hmm. You could easily go into another timeline that way.
But I think speaking to all of this, I think the great thing about this show in the first season is just how fun it is. I mean, it doesn't take itself as seriously as Arrow, but it gives a chance for us to laugh at these genuinely amazing characters like Cisco.
Oh God, I love
Cisco.
Cisco.
And we have so much fun. I mean, I think that's
Cisco, who has a power
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that
apparently
too.
they might be bringing that in, but I think it's just really cool. I think the superpower of super speed can be executed fairly well on a television budget, and it doesn't take me out of it too much. So I think overall this is just a really fun show. I always look forward to watching it, so I'm definitely looking forward to season 2 and all the craziness that they can do. I feel like when stuff in the show happens that's emotional, I feel like it actually has weight to it, and I actually react to it. I think Alan has some specific experience to reacting to the show.
I watched the season finale, and I'm not gonna lie to our viewers, I ugly cried. I couldn't stop it, and even explaining it to my wife later, I started crying again.
Oh no!
I'm not kidding. I mean, it hit me that hard, and so that gives a testament to the acting, to the writing, to the situation, to the gravity of that moment, especially at the point where he wants to go in and save his mom, but the past him looks at him and says, "Don't."
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it changes everything. It's just huge.
Yeah, and especially just considering it was a moment that we were leading up to for 23 episodes, which is something you don't get a whole lot in TV, where one single moment is being held off until the very end of the series. So yeah, I think overall everything just paid off really, really well. Apparently the cliffhanger may not have been great for some people, but I definitely don't think that's going to be a deal breaker for anybody.
Yeah, and Alan, while you were ugly crying, I was secret crying through that episode.
Secret crying.
I was sitting there, I was like, it's something in my eye. It's totally not tears.
And then and I cry at movies, so it's perfectly fine.
It was so crazy personal to me to see him sitting there going I have this opportunity to save my mom, but he knows he can't do it, So it was crazy personal for me, just on a whole other level.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that this show is obviously going to be topping the list of favorite TV shows superhero-wise. I think it's all our favorites, but I think the next show that we're going to talk about is by far Chris's favorite, because I've been hearing him talk about this show every week as he's been slowly trying to convince me to catch up on it, which I did. So, Chris, why don't you lead us into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2. Season 1 was rough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I think we can all agree with that.
Real rough.
That's the slowest burn since Slow came to Burntown. To make a bad joke out of it. But after Civil War, they kind of seemed to... Or not Civil War, Winter Soldier, they kind of picked up their pace. Mm-hmm. They were waiting for that moment, and then everything kind of then's been its own deal. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 introduced one of my favorite character sets, the Inhumans. And they get a movie in 2019 now.
Yeah, I don't know, something like a decade away. I don't know.
The very last Phase 3 movie. Honestly, this show was full of surprises for me this season, and I think it ended on an even more crazy, surprising note. Mm-hmm. The fact Phil Coulson lost a hand, it's mind blowing to me. I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to spend some time talking on this show, because we've been kind of pushing it off to the side for the past 20 weeks that we've been doing the show. So, I mean, from my point of view, everyone knows that I have not liked the show. Andy over here has not liked the show.
No, not up until... It's kind of funny, because I was just this show blows. And then it kept blowing hard. And then it was it's weird, because the turning point... was after Age of Ultron came out, for me it was now it's kind of found a way to improve, and then it became way better.
Yeah, I've been saying that the show gets better the more and more that they add superheroes to it. I think S.H.I.E.L.D. operating on its own is a totally fine concept for a TV show, but I think...
It gets repetitive, though.
Yeah, but I think S.H.I.E.L.D. totally needs to be inhabited by superpowered people, and we get a lot more of that in Season 2, and I think that's where it really starts to shine. I mean, we binge-watched, the last, I think, 7 or 8 episodes, in a row, and we really liked it. One of the few times we were okay, let's stay up a little bit longer and watch the next episode. So... I think I am now looking forward to Season 3, which is something I didn't think I would be saying a few weeks ago, for sure.
Alan, you're caught up, right?
I am caught up. My take on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is it is a better show to binge watch than it is to watch weekly.
Maybe that's part of what it is too.
And
We were able to sit and binge watch.
Because what I find is when I watch my shows throughout the week, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is always the one that gets stuck on the DVR.
Yeah.
And I build it up and build it up and build it up. And then I'm like, you know what? I've got a day to kill. Why not? Let's just sit down and binge watch it. So I'll sit and binge watch, I'll clean the living room and binge watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm like, okay, this is much more enjoyable than watching it week after week. And the other problem that I have with it is also ABC's scheduling. I can't stand their schedule. It's like, oh, we're going to have 2 new shows, and then we're going to have 3 weeks of nothing. And then we're going to have 1 week of a new show, and then 2 weeks of nothing. It's like, no, stop. And I think
They do that with a lot of their shows, though.
And I think, I know, like, my wife watches Grey's, we watch Nashville, and I'm completely lost in Nashville because I don't know what episode is new. So for me, I like to sit back, kind of let them build up a little bit, and then just binge watch them. Because that's what I did with the beginning of season 2, and up until the part where Skye goes into the chamber and becomes Quake. That was like a heart-wrenching moment that I was invested in. And then I come back to watch the startup of the second half of season 1, or season 2. I'm like, this is kind of boring. Mm-hmm. And so I just kind of let them build up a little bit, let the DVR stack them up, and just binge watched them.
Yeah, I think one of the things is they don't do the villain of the week kind of deal like the Flash does.
Right.
I don't know if Arrow does that or not.
Sometimes, but they didn't in season 3.
And it's definitely, I think they're at a point now, like, there's a comic book series called Secret Warriors. A lot of what the show's pulled from is from that series, Secret Warriors. Mm-hmm. And I think this is where they're going to start introducing a team of superpowered people like Mike wants. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see a lot more coming in this, and it's going to be free form. Like, honestly, like, I don't think it's going to play much into the movies. I don't think Ant-Man's going to have much effect on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Mm-hmm. Or Civil War might, but again, we have another year for that. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 is definitely better than Season 1 for those who are not into it. And again, starting in like 5 days, you can go watch it all on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, were you going to say something, Alan?
I think to the detriment, I think they need to start introducing more characters in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to bring them into the movies. I think that would be a better way to introduce some of these characters than to just throw up hey, here's a Ant-Man movie that you have absolutely no idea about, but we're just going to put the Marvel label on it and you're going to come watch it. Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared for Ant-Man. Like, I know it, and I know all of my comic book nerd friends know it, but I don't think the general public knows it.
Yeah, it's gonna. We're gonna see. I mean, I'm again more optimistic towards it, but I mean, we'll come back to Ant-Man later. Probably on another show when it's closer. I'm wanting to see their post Age of Ultron like promotions kick up. So yeah, but I mean, again, back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I think season 2 is good, but way better than season 1, and season 3 is probably gonna get even better.
Yeah, I think it's just awesome that we have so many ways to digest Marvel. So I'm just glad Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got better, because it wasn't going to go anywhere. So I'm glad it's now something I can watch.
Yes, that leads us into Alan was talking about ABC. When do they have new shows? Agent Carter solved that problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. by filling in the space where they would normally like space out 4 or 5 episodes. Agent Carter season 2. Or season 1 was done in, February. It's been a while. What do you guys remember the most about it?
I loved Agent Carter. I loved it. I loved her character. I thought she was incredible. She's a very strong woman. I think a lot of the problem is that they have these women rely on like, oh, my relationship with this guy, or oh, me and this girl we don't like each other. And those seem to be the two things they always have women do. Whereas with Agent Carter, it was neither of those. And I think that's part of the reason why I enjoyed the show so much, is because she was a very strong-willed woman all on her own. You know, it wasn't that she was doing something because, you know, she was trying to, I don't know, save her relationship with her boyfriend. You know, it was for the good of the agency.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want people to think that we're pandering on the female point of view, but I think it's very important just because, you know, a lot of people that digest these superhero media, they're not typically as informed of kind of what it's like to grow up without a lot of role models that are strong. So I think it's great that we have someone like Agent Carter, who's basically just happens to be a woman, you know, and she uses it when she needs to, but she's overall just really cool.
Kicks ass.
Yeah, she kicks ass, and I think that's important. So I definitely want season 2. And I think it's okay that we're not getting that little S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff and we're getting Agent Carter instead.
It's true. One of the big things to note, you know, we talked about 10 episodes, but she's moving from the East Coast to the West Coast. She's going to San Francisco in season 2.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and well, who else do we know in San Francisco? Tony Stark.
Oh, well, yeah, West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, so she's going to be out there. I want to see more Jarvis, honestly. I think
I
Yes.
love Jarvis.
Jarvis
is awesome.
Yeah, and I think he was underused, but I think that's okay. It proved Peggy didn't need Jarvis. You know, she could do things on her own. But I want to see more Jarvis in season 2. He was just fantastic.
I think we loved him the most because he kind of had like a character arc. I mean, obviously he had a past of being in the military, but he was kind of like a calm and just chill dude. And then he went into this kind of transformation where he kind of turned into a super spy badass, and I really liked that.
Well, what I found interesting about Jarvis was that they painted him with a lot of the characteristics that they usually give to the female characters. And then they had Agent Carter with a lot of the more male characteristics that they tend to hand out. But the better part about with Jarvis is that they still kept some of these secret little things that were still very much painted the masculine part, but they didn't overplay them like they would do, you know, normally. Normally they'd be like, oh, this dude needs to be like this, very strong, you know, in charge, that type of thing. But with Jarvis, they had him, I mean, he was a butler.
Yeah, I never really
You
thought
know,
of that before. That's
constantly
true.
talked about his wife and how he would do things for his wife and take care of the house and how he needed to go pick her up or meet her somewhere. So it was almost like he was secondary in his relationship with his wife, which was nice because that's usually what they make the women into in any TV show, not just, you know, superhero shows.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
So I found it interesting. Made his character very interesting to me.
Yeah, so Agent Carter, season 2. We're all excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, I know, anything you want to say on that before we...
The one thing that I'm glad with Agent Carter is that Emily Blunt did not take the role, because I love and adore Haley Atwell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I watched another movie that she was in this weekend. It was like a biopic of Jimi Hendrix. She's phenomenal in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad she's played Agent Carter for 5 years now, and I
Yes.
definitely see her doing it for several more. So, Marvel casting through the roof yet again.
yeah, good job, Marvel.
Yes.
Way to go, Marvel.
Next up, we're going to talk about something I've not watched. I know very little about. I've now seen commercials because I've been watching The Flash live on TV. iZombie. Who's watched iZombie here?
Not me.
Not me.
I have.
What do you think of it? Give us a rundown.
So-
This is your time to shine.
I actually kind of enjoy it. It's one of those, like, I don't see it getting a lot more seasons out of it. I think, you know, they portray zombies in a different way. So, like, a energy drink is what caused the zombie outbreak, but it started at a frat party.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. And so, like, when all these frat guys started drinking this energy drink, it basically turned them into zombies. They either ate the people on, like, this boat or they scratched people, and that's how our main character became a zombie, which basically she just turned really pale. So instead of being a zombie, they more, like, gave her albinoism. And so the only time they go into like full zombie mode is when they get hungry. And she works in a morgue, so she gets to eat all the brains that she wants because she gets them at the morgue. And
convenient.
her boss understands that she's a zombie, and he's trying to cure her of her zombieism. And when she eats the brains of the deceased, she actually gets their memories and their personality traits.
Oh, so like in that what movie? What's that movie?
That other zombie movie, something blood, isn't it? Something blood.
Warm Bodies.
Yes,
Yeah,
Warm
that's what it
Bodies.
is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And so every episode, she essentially plays a different character because her character changes with the brains that she eats.
That's interesting.
And again, as I said before we started recording, it's written by Rob Thomas, or adapted for television by Rob Thomas.
God,
Not
I
that
still
Rob
love Matt.
Thomas.
Damn it, I love Matt Buckland.
Not that Rob Thomas, the other Rob Thomas, who
He doesn't want to be
wrote
associated with his very popular band. We understand.
No, and he wrote Veronica Mars, which I can talk your ear off ad nauseum about Veronica Mars. I named my daughter after one of the characters, so I'm a big fan.
Well, I think I'll take that as a possibility of I might look up the show. I was very wishy-washy when I heard about the idea, but it sounds like that you liked it, so I think I'll check it out. But
I mean, it's funny. I would recommend binge watching it.
oh, okay, that's good.
Is the current season over, or are they still airing episodes?
I think they're still airing episodes because
Okay.
it came in halfway through the season of Flash, because it comes on right after Flash, and it came on like right after, or like right in the middle.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll definitely keep our eyes up for iZombie. My girlfriend actually won a radio contest a couple weeks ago, and they gave her a bunch of iZombie, like a squish ball brain and stuff like that. And I said, "This shit's stupid," and threw it out the car. But I guess it's cool. So I apologize, iZombie. Gotham, the next show. I don't think, Mike, you've watched this, have you?
We had over
We
here.
watched like one or two.
Yeah, we've
episodes.
seen the pilot. I think we were a little mediocre on the pilot. It didn't really make us want to launch into the other episodes. But I'm not taking it off the watch list. I think I might get around to it later. But I think we've been kind of deferring for the past couple weeks because we're like, well, we're eventually gonna get Alan on the show because we know he's watching Gotham.
I think you mean Gotham.
Gotham. You've ruined the title of the show for me.
Oh, dear Lord.
But Alan, how about you give us a little bit of just maybe one or two things that you like from the show,
And if you've seen any pork product placements.
oh yeah, exactly.
Well, there was a character on there called Professor Pig, so
Well, there you go. Gotham. Perfect.
got him.
They got the name.
Honestly, I kind of like it. There was a podcast that Kevin Smith did where him and Paul Dini talked about how they would write the Jesus years of Bruce Wayne. So, like, from 13 to 30, no one really writes about it. And they kind of wanted to bring him up through, like, this prep boarding school. And the gist of their podcast is essentially Gotham, but more focusing on Bruce instead of Jim Gordon. Where Gotham focuses on Jim Gordon and how he's trying to solve the mystery of the murder of the Wayne family, and he's trying to take care of Bruce, and he's trying to stop organized crime in Gotham. And it's also the rise of the Penguin, at least season 1 is. I've read somewhere that season 2 is going to focus on the Joker, which I'm kind of excited for because they brought in a guy that does a very convincing Joker, like a la Jack Nicholson mixed with a little Cesar Romero.
Is that the one we talked about probably in like one of our earlier episodes?
Yes.
Okay.
That guy's awesome.
So-
That was
So do you
such a good
think
episode.
would you recommend this show to someone then?
Oh, I would. If you're a Batman fan, or just a comic fan in general, you're gonna enjoy this.
What's the
But if you are a fan of the animated series, there's a lot more Harvey Bullock. And Harvey was like the big, rotund, kind of boisterous detective that never really liked Batman.
Well, I just so happen to have a Harvey Bullock signed poster on my wall and all of his action figures, so that's a really big selling point for me.
And Donald Logue, I think is how you say his name. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Blade.
He was in Ghost Rider, I think, as well.
He was in Ghost Rider. He was in Sons of Anarchy season 5. I think he was in season 5, season 6. Really good actor. I think he plays it very well. Jada Pinkett Smith is a bit much to take in. Again, we're going back to the Smiths. It seems like their whole family's taking over comic book shows.
Especially DC. Thank God it's not Marvel.
She kind of plays a gangster, and she's a very strong female character. But she plays it very campy. But I think that's like the personality that she gave the mobster. So it tends to wear on you a little bit when you watch it. The Riddler, there's a good backstory with the Riddler. And just it's kind of it's not necessarily a whodunit or a Law and Order Gotham. I was expecting he was going to be like Law and Order Gotham. But it's not. It's more of how Jim Gordon is handling the realm of coming into this corrupt city and this corrupt precinct, and he's trying to clean it up from the inside.
Well, it sounds like this show might be a decent contender for me to watch while I'm cleaning my living room, huh?
Exactly. Exactly.
I think maybe that's a good level of TV show now. It's something that you watch while you're cleaning the house.
Yeah, or if you're doing something else that's not too noisy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think we also got another entry into the DC universe this year, because DC seems to really be ruling the TV, the broadcast television for sure when it comes to TV shows. But we had another show, Constantine, which is on shaky ground now after the first season. We don't really know what it's going to be, but I don't know about you guys, but this is another instance where I've only seen the pilot, and then after that I've only heard not so great things.
I've not watched it.
I have not watched it either.
Nope.
Oh, well, great. I think that's why it's on shaky ground.
Yeah, I think that speaks to the
Pretty
show.
much. My brother likes it. Like, I know he's like, please save Constantine. He's posting it all over Facebook. And I'm like, I just can't get into it.
Sounds like we got one guy then. We
Yeah.
got one guy who's watching it.
That's why it's on shaky ground. They only have the audience member of 1.
Yeah, that's not enough for the Nielsen
No.
rating.
Well, the WNBA's still going, and they only have 1 viewer.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. Well, okay. Constantine's something I would love to watch. This is one of those I want to download or watch on Netflix, but I don't think I don't think it's on Friday nights. I'm not going to watch it live.
Yeah, we got things to do on Fridays.
Yeah. So poor Constantine. That kind of gets away to this next one. I don't know if this falls under this or not, but I included the Blacklist on here.
Uh-huh.
I was confused about that.
This is your one. You're always sticking like at least one thing in here.
Well,
this is a little shaky in relation.
It's getting a comic book starting this summer, so I was like, it's the same thing, right?
There you go. You've technically found your way in.
The Blacklist is one of those shows that grabbed me after Christmas, and I binge watched season 1, and I watched it religiously when it was on the air for season 2. I really like this. Have you guys watched it? Anybody caught up?
We've watched some. We're not caught up though.
We've seen large portions, but we've liked what we saw, and it's Ultron in the flesh.
Exactly. Have you seen it, Alan?
I have not. It is in my Netflix queue. There's so much other stuff in the queue.
There's so much. Blacklist is one of those shows that builds up essentially the character Ultron before you get to see him in Age of Ultron.
See, and I didn't like Ultron.
I think Blacklist gives a lot more to James Spader than deals with. I don't like the main character, the actress. She's one of those stupid people who, like, don't do this or something bad's gonna happen. But what does she do? Does it anyway. Kind of characters.
See, you're getting on my level, man.
Yeah, and she's like the worst. But at the end of season 2,
she's just like the worst.
she works for the FBI, but now she's on the FBI's most wanted list. at the end of season 2.
Oh,
And I'm not gonna tell you how. I'm not
spoilers.
gonna tell you how that happens. It's wicked, kind of actually unexpected. But I like the Blacklist. If anyone else likes the Blacklist, you should watch season 2. So.
Yeah. Well, I think for these last 2 shows that have aired, we've talked about them previously on the show. One of them definitely at length. So I think we should see what our guests think about Daredevil and Powers, and then I think we should jump into the wild speculation of the future of some shows that are coming out.
Yes. So Daredevil, go.
Andy, ladies first.
Oh, I thank you.
So Mike gets to go first.
I was gonna say, then shouldn't we be letting the host speak? Actually, Daredevil. I actually really enjoyed Daredevil, and I kind of went into it not knowing much about it. I had seen the lovely movie that was Daredevil, but I hadn't, so I wasn't super. I didn't love it. Let's put it that way. So, going into the TV show, I was like, well, I don't really know a whole lot about Daredevil, so we'll see how this goes. But I was very, very impressed with it. It was very dark, and I loved that about it. It was very, I don't know, I liked the rawness to the characters in it.
So I have a confession that I want to tell everyone. I actually saw Daredevil twice in the theater.
Oh, man, you're the reason.
I saw it once by myself. I had the day off, and I was like, oh, I'll go see this. It's a comic book movie. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad, at least at the time. Obviously, we've gotten better comic book movies.
Obviously.
But at the time, I was like, this isn't that bad.
Those 2 ticket sales is why they made the Elektra movie. They made it just for you.
Okay, and again, I got another confession. I actually own both of them on DVD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, I do too, but I own every.
So
There's
bad.
name a Marvel movie I don't own. That's a
That's
challenge.
true.
Collective
That's
groaning. Collective groaning.
Yeah.
So,
You guys just got
Daredevil.
you got way less cool in my book just now.
I cannot speak enough. I tell everyone that I see, like, have you seen Daredevil? They're like, no, I don't really know if I want. I'm like, just shut your mouth and go watch it.
Shut your dirty mouth.
I love reading the Ultimates series, and they pulled a lot of this straight from the Ultimate series. To his initial costume, to the fact that he's doing it while he's in college.
Avocados at law.
Yep. I think even the look of Foggy was really based on the Ultimate series.
I love Foggy.
And
Foggy's my man.
Foggy was awesome.
One of the bad
But-
bros.
Okay, another confession that I have, I will watch anything with ninjas in it.
You got a lot of
And so,
confessions this episode.
I do. I'm getting a lot of stuff
I
off
feel
my
like
chest.
I feel
Coming
like
out
this is
party.
Daredevil.
He's crying and everything.
We're Daredevil's priest, and he's our Daredevil.
Exactly. And I love ninjas. And so my biggest hope for this season was that they were going to introduce the Hand. And when he fought that red ninja, I flipped my shit in my living room. I'm like, oh my god, it's a ninja! I'm like, this is the best show ever! And I just the whole time. And just how dark it was. I mean, it's finally nice to see a Marvel movie go dark.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten The Punisher, and we've gotten The Punisher Warzone. We've gotten Blade. Wolverine's killed a couple people, but we haven't really gotten
Right,
a
this
Marvel
was-
movie that's dark.
Yeah, but I mean, this was dark.
I know.
Really, yeah.
Dark.
Dark.
Like, when the dude kills himself in, what is the second, third episode?
Where he shoves his head on the spike.
Yes!
Oh,
I was like, oh, God, that hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, this is one of the few shows that I actually almost wanted to turn around and started rewatching. I'm not a big rewatcher. I kind of like to move on to the next
unless
thing.
it's 30 Rock.
Yeah, I like to move on to the next thing no matter what. But Daredevil, I'm definitely going to sit down and rewatch it again this summer. I think it's obvious. Everyone loves it. I mean, and it goes to show you that we're getting that second season way sooner than we all thought we would. So, yeah, Daredevil and Flash, I think, have been my favorite so far of this last television season.
And Vincent D'Onofrio couldn't have been a better Kingpin.
Ooh, yeah.
He was amazing. and I'm not really a big D'Onofrio fan. I am now. He was amazing.
My funny story about Daredevil is 3-4 days ago, my girlfriend's aunt messaged her and was like, have you guys heard of Daredevil? It's awesome. You should watch it. And she's like, we got this.
Have you heard of it? Oh, no, I haven't. Tell me a little about it.
I've never heard of that.
Have you met Daredevil? So, Powers. Have you guys watched Powers?
No.
No.
Well, then that was a bust.
Yeah, I think that... But it's getting a second season, so...
Yes, it is getting a second season.
The people that watched it liked it. I still haven't watched it past episode 1, but I have every intention of watching the entire season.
Isn't that a PlayStation Network exclusive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and that's the problem. I've watched 6 episodes, but I've not watched the last 4 because it's not an easy way to get it. Even if I go try to download it illegally, there's no easy way to get it. And I think that if it was open to more people, more people would watch this.
Mm-hmm. But I've heard great things about it, so I'm definitely looking forward to talking about season 2 in the future.
Yes. Speaking of the future,
oh, segue.
Shows coming out next year.
Ooh.
2015-2016 season that includes fall, spring, whatever. We talked about that last week. First up, Legends of Tomorrow. Who is excited? Raise your hand. Okay, now put it down because you look stupid. But I am excited for Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think I intentionally waited because, as we all know, I think CW is horrible at marketing their shows. They like to spoil everything ahead of time just so they make people watch the show.
Truth.
So I waited to watch Legends of Tomorrow till after the Flash pilot, but it looks like it didn't even matter because guess what? The original Black Canary from Arrow isn't dead. They're just bringing her back, and they revealed it in a trailer. So I was a little bummed about that. That kind of steamed my broccoli.
I would like to point out that she's White Canary.
Well, she's the White Canary now.
I'm just saying.
But
you said black. She's white.
But I think what speaks most...
No, Michael Jackson.
I think what speaks most to... I think what speaks most to this trailer is that when I played it, when we watched it, I think you thought it was going to be a movie at first. So I think it goes...
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show how cinematic the trailer was.
And he's like, I never said that.
Oh, she totally did. I was right next to her. Okay.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you're just like, is this going to be a movie?
Is that how I talk? Is this gonna be a movie?
We're gonna have an intervention.
Oh my god!
Someone's sleeping on the couch tonight.
How close are you guys to the valley?
We're
in the valley.
We're in it.
It's rubbing off.
On Mike. Oh, but no, seriously. I watched this. Someone, one of our listeners, pointed out that it may have spoiled something for the Atom from the end of Arrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
However, we all know that Atom shrinks. That's his he is DC's Ant-Man, so to
But
speak.
he doesn't quite get to the size of an atom, so it's a little misleading.
Yeah,
I'd like to point that out too.
he does in the comics, but not in this show.
Yeah, instead they're like, bring him down to Ant-Man size. That'll be good enough.
They don't have the budget to render some atomic particles yet on the CW.
Well, maybe they should get it together.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All they gotta do is make him disappear because it's not you to see it.
What they should do is they should cancel the 100 and the originals and a couple other their smutty vampire shows and put that budget towards the Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow.
Just towards the rendering of the Atom.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I found out something very interesting this week. CW is partially owned by CBS. Who's doing Supergirl, and I did not know that.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I got wrong off the bat when we were talking about Supergirl a couple weeks ago, was I thought that Supergirl was supposed to be connected to the Warner Brothers movie universe, and then it sounds like that they have not made a decision yet. I think they're almost waiting to see if how well the show's going to perform. They've kept, as you can see in the trailer for Supergirl, they've kept the big man, as they call him, Superman, cloaked in shadow, so you don't see what he's gonna be.
Can we just talk about that trailer for a minute?
That's what we're on. We're on Supergirl.
Yeah. I'm just saying, oh my god, it felt like they were just trying to appeal to a more woman-based audience, except that they apparently think that women don't have a brain in their head. They're just like, oh my god, I don't know how to discover myself. Oh no. It's like what the whole thing was. I was like, really? That's what we're doing?
You are a delicate little flower.
Apparently. Forget the fact that women have to give birth to babies, you know.
I'm glad they give birth to babies. If it was something else, I'd be very, very concerned. but no.
We leave the other form of giving birth up to you men.
I'm so confused.
Poop jokes. Poop jokes, guys. Poop jokes.
But Ching. Supergirl, are you talking about the 6-minute trailer?
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty long and kind of bleh.
I felt like I saw pretty much the whole first episode, the pilot episode, in that trailer.
From personal experience, you pretty much saw the first half of the first episode, so there's
I would venture to say you saw the first half of the season.
Everyone I've talked to says that airplane catch is pretty cool, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought the airplane thing was pretty cool, but there was just so many other things that were just.
All right. Well, I think I can kind of jump in here and like kind of maybe ease some of everyone's worries. So I was able to watch the leaked pilot. I watched it early Friday morning, and it was better than I thought it was going to be. It doesn't seem to stand out as anything special in my mind. It seems to be playing it relatively safe. They definitely set up the type of monster of the week type deal in this show. I wasn't a big fan of how they did that. The pilot is front-loaded with a lot of exposition. I kind of let that go just because I know they have to set up a character that a lot of people aren't familiar with. But my initial worry was the whole connection that felt like it was Devil Wears Prada. I felt like this was going to be more inter-office relationships and less kicking butt. But we do...
Hence the trying to appeal to women of a certain age.
I mean, we get some kicking butt in this. I have to say, don't weigh too much on the tone that the trailer gives you. The tone doesn't follow through with the pilot. I'm just more worried that this doesn't seem too special. I think I'll definitely give it a shot. You know, I think I'll give it a couple episodes in and just see how I feel about it. But it just seems a little unremarkable, you know, considering you know we're getting basically a superhero, Superman type character on the screen again on television. But, you know, I'll be interested to hear what you think, Chris, when you watch it. We can talk a little bit more about it next week.
Yeah, this isn't a show, like I said, right now I'm currently excited for, or I will be watching. Does it feel like Smallville? Compared to Smallville, yes or no?
Well, I mean, I've only seen a little bit of Smallville.
I've seen all of Smallville.
It feels a little different. It feels a little separated. I have to say, there's some likable characters in the show. So I feel like, you know, just that's exactly what television's for. It's to focus on the likable characters. So I'm hoping I'm a little optimistic. You know, we'll just have to see as time tells. You know, it served its purpose as a pilot. It set up a season. I'll watch episode 2, and I think that's about all you can say for it.
Does anybody else have this on their watch list other than Mike?
I mean, I'll probably check it out or program it in the DVR and binge watch it, but to me it just looks like the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt with a cape.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. It really is.
It does.
Yes.
It's like...
It looks like it's a show made for airheads.
It's
I hate to say that.
Everyone wants to work in a fashion magazine. No, they don't.
No, they do not.
And honestly, I think this might have been the reason why the speculation is that they might have released this on purpose to get some footing of what exactly the show actually is. I think the trailer they edited was bad. It does not fit.
The trailer is horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the tone of the show. I think the show is going to have other problems.
Well, the thing is that what they're doing is even though we obviously all agree that the trailer is terrible, what they've done is they've set it up to look like The Devil Wears Prada meets Kimmy Schmidt. Which, if you're gonna show somebody a trailer and that's how it's gonna appear, but then the actual show is totally different, you're gonna get the exact wrong type of audience. You're gonna get people that watch the show, you know, women that watch the show expecting something like Devil Wears Prada or Kimmy Schmidt, and then they're gonna be like, well, I'm never watching this again. But then you've also already cut out all of the people that were originally would have been the continued viewers on it, because you basically told them, oh, this is gonna be like this crappy other, you know, thing. You know, so it's
Do they need to show more abs?
No, abs are not everything, guys.
I'm starting to imagine a really funny pitch meeting for the show. It's just like, okay, so we got Supergirl. Okay, you remember the movie Devil Wears Prada? Okay, throw in some Tina Fey-esque humor in here, and we got a really weird show going on. You ready to fund it? Okay, let's go.
It's just, I don't know. If like you said the trailer doesn't really match up with the actual show, then that's poor on all of their parts.
Yeah, let's blame the editing department on that.
No.
It is
You
CBS.
should be blaming the producers for that. They're the ones who made those decisions. The editor just did what they were told.
Let's blame the devil and go on to Lucifer.
Oh, nice segue. That might be your best.
Best segue yet.
That's your personal best, man.
Thank you. I was either going to talk about this or bad trailers, one of the two. Because Lucifer isn't something. It's another Constantine to me.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe from it when I watched it.
It's another going to be a short half season, if that, episode of supernatural people and nightlife, I guess, helping cops.
Yeah, I think real quick, Alan, what did you think about the trailer?
I like the trailer. It's for me, it's something that I kind of dig. I like fictional Christian theology. I currently watch Supernatural, and they dive a lot into fictional Christian mythology. So I kind of like it. I don't like the CGI wings on the angel. Like, I thought those were kind of cheesy.
It looked like claws
Yeah.
when he reached out with them.
I mean, I kind of liked. For me, I like to see angels be a little bit more subtle. So, like, in Supernatural, you'll only see them when, like, lightning flashes, and you'll see, like, the wings, like the silhouettes or the shadows of the wings in the background. Or when an angel dies, you'll see their wings burnt on the ground. So you never really see them with their wings out. You know, it's not Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in Dogma, or the guy, or Paul Bettany in Legion.
Oh, let's get a Dogma TV show. That's what I want.
That would be fantastic.
I thought you were going to say Legion TV show, and I'm like, there already is. And it got renewed for season 3.
And so, I like it. I mean, it's got an old classic car, which, you know, if you're going to talk to a typical guy, when he watches his shows, he likes his main character to have a quintessential car.
The car looks straight out of Entourage. It does.
I mean, it's a 57 Corvette.
I'm just saying, it looks like Entourage without the entourage.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Sans
It's just
Entourage.
Adrian Grenner. That's it.
Oh, I want that show. Let's get that show.
No, you
know
don't.
what? Let's get that mixed with Dogma. There we go. Let's pitch it.
Yep. And I love the fact that the devil is British,
Those Brits.
because apparently all good bad guys are British, like Jaguar tells us.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm really surprised they don't have more British bad guys in there. I mean, yeah, this is something we're going to have to keep our eyes on as it comes out. You know, it's not following the source material very well, from what I heard. And yeah, whatever. Something on the maybe list. We're going to jump into Preacher. We're going into it. It's still filming. We've kind of talked about this a little bit, right?
You know, you had the perfect opportunity there to make a church joke about Lucifer and a preacher.
I did, and I stalled. I froze up, and now you put me on the spot, and damn it.
I think I think this is the longest we've ever recorded. We're reaching a bit of a limit for, I think, us.
Yes,
We're running out of segues.
we are. So let's jump into this. Preacher. You guys know about Preacher, right? We talked about it last week a little bit.
Yep.
Seth Rogen, Adam Goldberg produced, written. It's coming out. I think it's AMC, so it's gonna be Walking Dead channel.
Ooh, that means it's going to be good.
Yeah, they got that.
Yeah.
I think we're all optimistic, and I think that's the best thing to take away from it.
Yeah, the main actor plays the young Howard Stark character in the first Captain America movie in Agent Carter.
Yes.
Yes.
I like him. He's a good actor. I like to see him in more stuff. So I'm putting Preacher on the excited list. Lastly, Heroes Reborn.
What? Yeah.
Someone is excited.
I'm super excited. Okay, I was one of the fans that watch the show religiously.
Oh, me too. Me too, bro.
After watching it, I became a huge Zachary Quinto fan. And so when I see that season 4 was god awful, and it was an obvious product of the writer's strike.
Uh-huh.
You're
And
a
that's-
product of the writer's strike.
Whoa, easy, pal, easy. But that show suffered tremendously because of that strike. And so, I mean, it was one of those, like, we got to get it done, we got to hurry up, we got to put something out there. And it could have been better, but because of, like, what they had to work with, they couldn't.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what kind of angle they're going to take on this show, because we don't have any trailers yet, just like one little teaser trailer. It seems we're getting some actors returning. I don't remember their names because it's been a while since I've seen the show, but we're getting the character back. I think he used to be
glasses.
Yep, HRG.
Yeah, and the guy, I think he used to be a cop, or he was a cop in the show, and he had like super hearing, I believe.
Matt Parker.
Yeah, that character's coming back. I don't know in what capacity.
He could read minds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. So
And the Haitian.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we're getting a reboot, if it's reborn, alternate reality, but I'm looking forward to it because I really enjoyed the good seasons of Heroes.
I never
Yeah.
watched Heroes, so
Well-
I can't really say
Well,
much.
we'll get you back in. And
It's
we'll
on
see, We'll see what
Netflix.
it's like. But
One of
yeah.
the main character actually, I think, is Zachary Levi from he was in Thor: The Dark World as Fandral.
He was Chuck.
Chuck, there we go. That's the season I was looking for. He was Chuck. He's the main character in this.
Yes! I'm
you're
totally...
making Alan's day.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
I've never ever in my life heard someone be so excited about Heroes post season 4. So this is great news.
Yeah,
This is fantastic news.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to kind of to end this TV show segment and to end the podcast. You know, circling back around to a show that may have kind of started the whole thing when it came to TV superhero shows. I mean, it was big when it started.
Yeah, it's big, and I'm kind of glad they're bringing it back. I think they're going to be smart about it. It's going to be a limited series, and I put this on my to watch list. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Can I make one comment here since I couldn't comment on the last couple?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what show they really should be bringing back?
What's that?
Sliders.
Oh gosh. Every opportunity you have in any conversation, you bring
Sliders
up Sliders.
is awesome. Okay,
Keep
Jerry
your-
O'Connor did a wonderful job.
Keep your fingers crossed. If they can bring back Muppets for me, they can bring back Sliders for you.
Yes, but I would also like to have them bring back Gilmore Girls, but that's a whole other story for another time.
Well, yep, that is another story for another time. And on that, we will end today's show.
Yeah, wow. I wanna thank our guests for coming on the
Yes.
show.
We are pretty amazing.
Thank you for spending the past 2 hours with us on
man,
the
this
podcast.
is-
Absolutely.
This is rough. I think this show might be going through the editing room floor to trim a little bit of this.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, because you're the one that has to do it. You're like,
Yeah,
nah.
damn straight. Like, let them listen to 2 hours of us. If they don't want to listen past the news, they can shut it off in an hour.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
So,
Or you can make a part 1 and a part 2.
Yeah.
No.
That's what Kevin Smith does.
They'll let Kevin Smith do his thing.
Okay.
We're gonna let the slate do our thing, and we're gonna do it
Ooh.
wrong the whole time.
We're going to do it raw the whole time.
Oh yes.
Oh, raw dog it.
Oh god. What have we done? What have we created?
I've been in this room for too long recording. We gotta get out of here.
All right.
very
So
warm in here.
if they want to find you outside of the podcast, Mike, where can they find you?
Well, if they want to follow me, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter or Instagram. And as always, you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. What about you, Chris? Where can they follow you?
As usual, you can follow me at Valdan, VALDAN, on Twitter. And for Comic UI, you can go to comicui.com. We also have Facebook and Twitter, so hit us up there. But most importantly, we want you to follow our guests. Andy, where can they follow you at?
I am on Twitter at Andy Fine, or you can pronounce it Andiphany, whichever. Andy Fine. And, yeah, I'm just, there.
Crushes me that maiden name is still your Twitter
You'll
handle.
get over it.
It was a good
I
maiden name.
changed changed my name on there, though. It says Andy Royer.
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
It's a great maiden name, Mike. You can't blame her for that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised she changed it to begin with.
You should have
had
changed
to.
yours
Or
to
hyphenated.
Michael
I could-
Fine.
Could have been Mike Fine.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know, do we want to bring that into my family? I don't know.
oh, all right. We're gonna let them fight it out. Alan,
Oh man.
Yeah.
where can we find you at?
So I am at AWGLASGO at Twitter, DeviantArt, Instagram, Gmail, and Alan Glasgow at Facebook.
Not often do you get people plugging their Gmail.
Hey, whatever. If someone likes the work and they're like, oh, I kind of want that guy to do
It
something
sounds
for
like
me.
you found an internet username and just ran with it.
Well,
I
it's. I
sound
mean,
lame. I'm like, I have Twitter. I don't have Instagram. I don't do the Snapchats. I don't do all these things.
The Snapchats.
The Snapchats, all these things all you kids be doing these days.
Well, that's
Tweet
okay.
like 5 times a year.
I mean, Alan, aren't you the oldest out of all of us? Haven't you been around since the internet was created?
I actually have, yes.
So have we.
That was a joke. Oh.
Yeah, but I remember getting my first computer, like, before the internet arrived.
You're talking way back when they had the.
Way back when. 3.5-inch floppies, babe.
I'm gonna say the giant
Oh,
floppy
yeah.
disk.
Back
The
when
giant
3.5 inches was
floppies.
enough.
Back when you could play Oregon Trail in all green.
Floppy disk.
Yes.
I'd rather have a hard drive.
Oh, God. All right, I think that's a great segue to say, and of course, please visit superheroslate.com. That's where you can find the links to every outlet for this show. We are everywhere. We're on Tumblr, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We're all over the place, especially on YouTube. Chris puts a lot of work into making those YouTube videos for us.
Thank you for promoting that. We had some requests for YouTube videos talking about the pictures and things we talk about, and I'm actually trying to implement those more and more into our show so we can actually have people who want to look at the things we're talking about rather than click at them. So
Yeah, and of course we love you guys. We love the fans, and as always, please review and subscribe over on iTunes. That's a really good way to help the show. But oh man, I think this was like a supersized episode for sure. This was getting that giant fry at McDonald's.
Was
when
it bigger than Morgan's Burlock?
Oh yeah,
Supersized.
bigger than his turds were.
oh man. All right, that is a good time. This is a great time to leave. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week.
All right, bye everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.